Is it advised to get Avastin?
Avastin.
Thank you. Injections in the eye every 3 months for maintenance and preventative care.
Okay. I'm kind of a mixed bag when it comes to Avastin. I think it could be helpful. The most modern pharmaceutical research, which was done by the pharmaceutical companies, is suggesting that Avastin injections be given every 4 weeks, actually. So they've dropped it from every 3 months to every month. Now, we have a little bit, we're coming towards the end, but I want to spend a little bit of time on the Avastin because it's a really, really important issue. I'm not going to tell people to take it or not to take it because I'm not a medical doctor and I can't do that legally. But I do want you guys to understand what it is the Avastin is and what it's doing to the eye and the potential side effects and the harm that it can do and the good that it can do. So we need to look at it and understand it. So Avastin is a chemotherapy agent. It was originally used to treat colon cancer. So it is highly toxic. The objective, what we're using, is when they inject it into the eye when you have wet macular degeneration or edema. Or it's also used for any form of retinal bleeding like diabetic retinopathy. They'll use it. It's indicated for that. The goal is for the chemotherapy agent, to destroy those blood vessels, in the eye, or the neovascularization. So it's so toxic that it's going to kill the new blood vessels that are growing in the eye that are trying to nourish the macula. Okay, so it'll help absorb the fluids, and it'll help absorb the blood, and it'll help help stop the progression of the neovascularization, but through what mechanism? Through increased cellular toxicity. So you're intoxicating the eyes and you're putting these harsh chemicals. If you're taking them every 4 weeks for the rest of your life, is they're recommending, what do you think the neurological and cellular consequences of that are going to be? This stuff is, it hasn't been well researched, and we don't know the long-term, is it going to go into the brain? Is it going to go into the other parts of the body? We don't know how it's going to clear through the system, and what's overdose, and what's too much, and what can the body handle. So my opinion is I really am questioning this monthly application of it. And the bigger issue that's going on is the body has this adaptability, and people are growing resistance to these drugs. So they're actually trying to create new drugs now. Eylea is one of the new drugs that they're using that they're hoping the body doesn't create a resistance to. So what's happening is people are getting these injections every month, and the body's like, I'm still going to grow because life always finds a way. Again, we go back and we look at the macula. What's the body trying to do with the neovascularization? It's trying to grow new blood vessels to feed the macula. It needs food. It's doing that for a reason. We're putting drugs in there to stop that process. Do we really think that our drugs that we manufacture are more intelligent than the human body? I mean, maybe for a little while, but the body's going to overcome. It's going to figure out how to get that nutrition to the macula, because seeing is a vital process. You have to see in the brain, as part of the autonomic nervous system. That's the way your body perceives it. So it will do anything and everything it can to try to recover and preserve your vision. So the fact that your body's growing resistance to these drugs tells us something. And you got to think about that. Then there's the other side of it, where we've had patients who have gone completely blind. Literally, like one shot in the eye, it's so toxic, these people have such a low tolerance to it, it makes their vision gone, and you can't get it back. So that doesn't happen in all the cases, and that's not common, but you just need to understand this. You need to understand what the body's trying to do, what the drug's trying to do, and where the battle is where the battleground is.
Okay.
So understand that. Talk to your doctor about that. Look at what you're doing. Look at the strategy. I always tell patients, if there's a major bleed or a lot of edema, you really might want to consider it, because the damage of the accumulation of blood over time can be damaging. So if you have a retinal bleed and the blood's sitting around in the eye there, the iron and the oxidizing blood can be very damaging to the eye, and you want to clear that up and get it to absorb as fast as possible. But you don't want to keep putting the drugs in. something about that. Again, when you see the damaging side effects, you see the potential for that, you see that the body's adapting to it, and it's overcoming these drugs and medications, and they're becoming resistant to it. What's next? The doctors start giving immune suppressants or something like that, or start injecting a different way. So again, I wanted to spend some time on this, but it's really important for you guys with wet macular degeneration and dry macular degeneration, because dry can sometimes become wet. So just do some research on this, understand the mechanism of what's going on, and know when the appropriate time to use this is, and know when to say no, or know when to ask questions. And if your doctor brushes you off, that might not be the best doctor for you. They should answer your questions about this, because this is, again, a very strong toxic drug that you are injecting into your eye.
Great.